Good morning. Good morning. There we are. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew. This is the Ugly Review for Wednesday morning, April 10th, 2024. It is 6:03 a.m. Central Standard Time. Let me do something real quick. I just want to send out a Twitter notification real quick. Excuse me. Just going to... Going live right now on the YouTubes. Oops. Stop by. Okay. It's very short and stupid and simple. But anyway, good morning. My name is Andrew. I already said that. I already said Ugly Review. I already said the time, the date, and everything. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing quite well. I actually slept pretty well last night. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just jump right into it because I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good, and there's lots to talk about. And I think this is really going to be a more consistent thing, the Wednesday live stream, because it just seems like the news cycle just gets faster and faster and faster, and we are just seeing more news just so much faster every single day. It's just so hard to keep up with. So we need to talk about it a little more. So that's what we'll do. But the Joker 2 trailer came out, and I have not watched it yet. So we are going to watch that. Now, I don't know. I may have to pause it several times just because of copyright and stuff. I don't know if this has any copyrighted music in it. It probably does. The following content may contain suicide or self-harm topics. Okay, YouTube, I want to make this very clear. This is your warning. I'm clicking on YouTube's channel. I am not supporting suicide or self-deletion or whatever the fuck. Well, there it goes. So yeah, let's rearrange the camera a little bit. Make sure you can see this. I understand.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime.
No, hold on a second.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
Hold on a second. I want to make sure there we go. That's fine for now. Just to make sure. Okay, let's go back.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime. Wakey.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
Lady Gaga.
We use music to make us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody. I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
So just real quick right off the bat, and I think I might have to pause it just because of copyright and stuff. Just right off the bat, I'm not a fan of Lady Gaga. I don't like her music. I don't like she's a progressive nut, but I've seen her in a few things acting, and she's okay, right? She's talented. She is a talented entertainer. So I don't mind her being in the movie, but just as an aside, I suppose I do my best to try and separate. The oh crap, and they hit me for it. I don't know if this can be seen anymore. I don't know if this am I offline now? No, I'm still live. Okay. Oh, jeez. Anyway, I do my best to try and separate the entertainer from the bullshit outside of the entertainment. So I just hope she's good in this, right? I know she's talented, so let's see. And yeah, I know I'm getting a heads up warning. This might get dumped, so I'll just stop. Well, there he is.
Let's get out of here.
Okay. Have to keep pausing it, I guess. Don't want to get booted off the internet. Jeez, for giving this movie advertising. Boy, I don't know about this one, man. I don't know about this one.
What the world needs now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to turn it down because of the music. This movie didn't need a sequel. I'll just say that. La 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 la. Turn it down a little bit because I think it's just music. I don't think they're having any really dialogue over this. Okay.
Changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
Oh boy.
I want to see the real you.
Folie à Dieu. October 4th. I don't know. I don't think the Joker, I really like the first Joker. I don't think it needed a sequel. But, we'll freaking see, I guess, you know. I mean, it's nice that we're going to get a movie this year that we might be able to look forward to because there's been so much crap. Jesus. Okay, well, there's that. I think this one's got a 50-50 shot. This could be, it could be, I don't think it'll be as good as the first Joker. I don't think that's going to happen. But there's a shot it could be entertaining. Or there's a shot it could be really stupid. Where like, why did they even make this? You know, I kind of lean towards that. You know, not that it's going to be garbage, but we'll just kind of scratch our heads and go, why did they even bother? It's just, this didn't need to be. My feelings tell me that. My feels. I'm all up in the feels about it. Whatever. Okay, so there's that. I will definitely go see it, though. I did like the first one very much. Okay, what's next on the syllabus? Let's go. So speaking of movies, oh no, the American Society of Magical Negroes, it runs out of magic. This is bounding into comics. Report: the American Society of Magical Negroes runs out of magic. Ends pathetic theatrical run 3 weeks after debut. 21 days is all it took to burn it all down. This is April 9th by Josh Berger or Berger? I don't know. This is actually out on streaming now, so I'm probably going to watch it. Maybe I'll watch it tonight, and we'll go from there. Oh my God. The American Society of Magical Negroes has completely ran out of magic. As Focus Features makes the decision to pull the film from theaters after a 3-week run because audiences simply didn't show up to watch it. What a surprise. Who would have thunk that this racist, pandering bullshit would be kicked to the curb by everyone? Jeez. While there is no official announcement from the studio, the numbers confirms that the film's last day in theaters was Thursday, the 4th of April, ending its pathetic theatrical run 21 days after the film debuted to overwhelmingly negative reviews. Debuting on 1,147 theaters across the United States, The American Society of Magical Negroes was barely able to make $1 million at the box office on opening weekend, grossing $524,695 on a Friday. Opening Friday barely makes $500,000. A measly $469,070 on Saturday, and an even more disappointing $310,505 for a pathetic total of $1,304,270 on opening weekend. And remember, they take into account, I don't know if they did it with this movie, but they always take into account, they try to take into account like the Thursday night previews and everything. They try to extend that opening weekend as much as they can so they can pump up the numbers for all of the shareholders. The American Society of Magical Negroes' daily box office performance looked as predictably atrocious as one might have expected, barely managing to gross a mere $5,440 across 152 theaters on its final day. Whoa, what? Barely managing to gross a mere $5,440 among 152 theaters? No way. Oh my God. Dude, that's... Hold on, let's see if I can do the math in my head. Nah, fuck it. So 35 on its final day, $35 a theater. So about 3 tickets. About 3 tickets a theater. Good job. So on its final day, having grossed a pathetic total of $2,480,641 in 21 days, it was available. Interestingly, it seems the studio tried to breathe new life into the film's theatrical run, making it available at 6 more theaters a week after its debut, going up from 1,147 to 1,153 on March 22nd, only to drop to 152 theaters 1 week later. Oh my. They cut 90% of the theaters. Like 90% of the theaters after like 2 weeks. Oh. Focus Features is still keeping the film's production budget under wraps, but any movie that barely manages to gross over $2 million at the box office in 3 weeks after its debut can already be considered a financial disaster. And I had heard somewhere on one of the other film, maybe Geeks and Gamers or like Geeks and Gamers Daily or something. I think they said the budget was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $20 million, something like that. So if you take into account like the theaters, they take a cut of, they obviously take a cut of all the ticket sales, and the rule of thumb generally is you double the production budget in terms of advertising. So, and they did as far as I know, they did a lot of advertising for this. So they probably needed to make like $50 or $60 million to get any kind of profit out of this. Excuse me. So, I mean, this is the market, right? This is the free market telling you we don't want your bullshit. This is the free market telling you we don't want your bullshit. And you know, the whole reason we're getting this shit is because of the DEI, ESG stuff, the ESG investment that is being pumped into all of this crap. Now, that's the financial reason, right? Because all the shareholders and bankers and everything got into entertainment and they care about the bottom line. And ESG was this big new whiz-bang investment that they all thought they were going to get in on because it was going to be forced down everyone's throat. Well, this is the free market saying we don't want your ESG bullshit. And if these bankers were worth their salt and were actually trying to make money, if these investment bankers and shareholders, if they were trying to do what's best for the shareholders, that is, they would immediately change course because everyone is telling you, we don't like what you're making. We don't like your product. So I mean, you've just got to assume at this point, right? There's something else going on. There's something else going on in other than finances, because if you were genuinely trying to make the most money, you would have changed course a long time ago. They're losing money hand over fist. Upon release, critics were vocal about their displeasure with the American Society of Magical Negroes. On review aggregator site Rotten Tomatoes, the film had a critic score of 30% and a 59% audience score. Similarly, the film was met with mixed or average reviews on Metacritic based on 19 critics' reviews for a disappointing 52 out of 100, I think that meant, and a user score of 0.5 out of 10 based on 43 user ratings for overwhelming dislike. Yes. Word of mouth didn't help the film either. No, it fell off real quick. The self-described comedy helmed by debutante director Kobe Levy has already faced scrutiny when the trailer released, shamelessly describing white people as the most dangerous animal on the planet. I'm just not even going to go there right now. Adding insult to injury, the official trailer for the American Society of Magical Negroes sees Smith being recruited by David Alan Grier's character because he's good at making others, specifically white people, feel good, explaining to Smith's character that white people's discomfort levels are measured in white tears. Okay. Well, we've all seen it. With all the hullabaloo, we've all heard it and everything. This is almost over. The official trailer shared to Focus Features YouTube channel was met with just over 2,000 likes and well over 25,000 dislikes, garnering just above 2 million views on its first day after being posted. As of this writing, however, the trailer has received 10,000 likes and has been disliked over 147,000 times, with 7.2 million views in the 3 months since it was first published, which again is hardly surprising, all things considered. No, it is not surprising at all. Even more fascinating is the fact that the American Society of Magical Negroes still has to release internationally. Are they going to do that? Both IMDb and the numbers confirm that the film is expected to debut in Germany and the United Kingdom on the 25th and 26th of April, respectively. I wonder how well that will go over. Oh my God. I wonder how well that will go over. Wow. The final nail in the coffin is the fact that Focus Features released the American Society of Magical Negroes digitally and on video on demand on April 2nd. Okay, making it available for audiences to purchase for $29.99. And I did see this earlier. I saw this yesterday that it had come out on streaming. And I was planning on maybe renting it and watching it and doing a stupid review on it. But I'm not going to pay $20 to rent this movie. Are you fucking kidding me? You want me to pay $19.99 to rent this movie? Yeah, I don't think so. What is this? Dev Patel and Jordan Peele's pro-LGBTQ action movie Monkey Man? I didn't know that was a pro-LGBTQ movie. I guess it makes sense, though. Jordan Peele's pretty woke. I like Key better anyway. I just like his expressions more. I think Key's funnier. Okay, so there's that. Jesus. Who would have thought that a bunch of racist pandering wouldn't be successful? Not only did white people say, go fuck yourself, but black people said, go fuck yourself. These people are so disconnected. They are so unbelievably disconnected from the average person. It's just astonishing. I know I say it a lot. It's just astonishing how disconnected they are. They live in a completely different reality. They see reality completely different from you or I because they're Marxists. They don't see the humanity in people. They don't see the humanity at all. They see an object, right? They see a tool. They see individual people as tools to be used for their ends. For them, the ends justify the means. Even when it comes to people. Like all of it. All of it. They just see you all. They see all of us as a tool. To get what they want. And they don't care if they just throw us away. They don't care. They don't have humanity like you or I do. I mean, do you need any more proof? No. Anyway. Okay. And speaking of woke. So the Helldivers 2 thing has gone off, and I haven't played it yet, but there's a big to-do going on. Because apparently a bunch of community managers in the video game world are apparently a bunch of progressive white liberal women, and they are going after, I mean, they're like secretly woke and going after people. So I don't know the whole story, so that's why we're gonna talk about it. Let me see where I want to start, though. Okay, let's just start here. This is on what's the name of this website? This is TechOps. TechOpsy. TechOpse.com. I just found this website. Helldivers 2 community manager claims game is woke as bans targeted bigots, racists, and homophobes. And this is posted by S. Hill, April 7th of 2024. Excuse me. How's the screen looking? That's good. The popular live service game Helldivers 2, which gained recognition for its impartial approach to political discussions, is now facing criticism. The game's community manager, Catherine Baskin, sparked controversy by declaring the game as pretty woke before revealing that the apparent neutrality towards political discourse was actually a strategy to target bigots, transphobes, and racists. Sorry, I'm stuffed up. Excuse me. The game previously faced criticism from LGBT activists after discussions were removed about Arrowhead Game Studios incorporating LGBT capes into Helldivers 2. In the current year, some find it unfathomable for a game not to cater directly to LGBT individuals, despite the game's focus of blowing up bugs, robots, and yourself. Yeah, so this is the self-insert. All of these people, all of them, they have to put themselves into everything. It has to be a self-insert because their egos and their narcissism are out of control. And again, they don't have humanity, right? So they don't connect just with the human side of things, just like the human story, the everyday human journey. They can't connect to that because they have no humanity. They just see people as tools, right? They just see the color of your skin, or they just talk about your sexual orientation, or they just see your gender or non-gender or whatever the fuck. They just see whatever flag you wave around, and that's what they pay attention to, that because that might be useful to them. Your humanity, your nuance, they don't need that crap, right? Because that allows you, your humanity would allow you to stop and think about how it affects other people. And you might, if you got that humanity, you might stop and think, gee, maybe I shouldn't do this because these other people are, these are free sentient creatures, and maybe their opinion's different than mine, and maybe that's okay. Maybe I don't have to force them to believe what I believe. Maybe I don't have to force my ideology down their throat. Maybe they're the ones who are right, and I'm wrong. Have I ever really stopped to think about that? No. Because I don't think like other people. No, I have no empathy. I have nothing but apathy. That's how they think. Numerous self-proclaimed media-literate individuals have compared Helldivers 2 to Starship Troopers, arguing that the game is merely a satire of fascism, urging players to view the authoritarian regime of Super Earth as a parody of fascism. Let's see. However, in reality, most players just want to enjoy themselves and engage in explosive action without delving deeply into political interpretations. And again, that's one thing that they can't understand. That's one thing they don't grasp. They don't understand what games mean to gamers. They don't understand that after a long day of dealing with bullshit, that someone might want to just come home and turn on Helldivers 2, get online, talk some shit, and get away from all the politics and all of the reality. It's escapism, right? I've said it before. We don't even want to hear politics from our politicians. What makes you think we want it in video games? What makes you think we want it in movies? I mean, seriously, they're nothing like you or I, you or me. However, players may no longer be able to celebrate the fact that Helldivers 2 has extensively been viewed as being politically neutral, with its official community manager, Catherine Baskin, responding to a tweet regarding a Steam Curator review by Is It Woke for Helldivers 2 that stated the game wasn't woke. Catherine declared that Helldivers 2 is notably progressive, highlighting its development by a diverse team, including brown and black people, as well as LGBT and female developers. She described the live service game, devoid of a proper story narrative, as a satire of jingoism. Okay, so here's Catherine Baskins. And here's the tweet right here where she says, plus Helldivers is pretty woke, dog. Game was made by a lot of LGBTQ and brown people and black people and women, and it's a big satire of jingoism. It amuses me they don't know that Super Earth is bad. It also explains a lot about the world at present. I want to make this very clear. This community manager who claims to be fighting racism and misogyny and bigotry and all that, she went out of her way to talk about sexual orientation, the color of people's skin, and their gender. She did that. She did it. The gamers didn't do that. The people playing Helldivers 2 have been asking to not talk about this stuff. They say, we don't want to talk about this stuff. We don't care about this stuff. We don't care. Leave it out. And she has to inject it. She has to bring her ideology and politics into it. This is she's doing exactly, she claims to be fighting against it, does it herself, and then doesn't understand why people are upset. Like, I don't know, I'm not a psychologist. I play one on TV maybe, or on the internets. But I don't know what this kind of mental disorder is called. I don't know what this kind of thinking is called other than retarded. I really don't. The mental gymnastics. Like, can you imagine being in a relationship with this person? Holy fuck. Oh my God. What a nightmare. Jesus Christ. In the same conversation, Catherine Baskin disclosed that she and the Arrowhead Game Studios team were actively removing individuals from the game's Discord whom they identified as bigots, racists, and phobes. Remove yourself. Didn't they ban people from the Discord for suggesting they add LGBT-colored capes? No, we only banned the bigots, transphobes, homophobes, racists, etc. are not welcome in our community. We had to restrict the topics in the HD2 general chats for a while because it was triggering massive waves of hate speech, which our staff was struggling with emotionally. Well, I don't believe you when you say you were getting massive waves with hate speech. Now, there's going to be trolls in there. Not a few, but probably quite a bit of trolls who were just trolling, who are just saying gamer words because that's what gamers do. But I don't believe you when you say you were getting any genuine hate speech. I don't believe you at all. There's no such thing as hate speech. There is free speech, and there is censorship. What else did she say? Massive waves of hate speech. Now, I do believe you when you say that some of your staff were struggling with it emotionally. You hothouse flowers don't know how to deal with reality. So I do believe that. Despite being admired by the gaming community at large for simply taking a neutral stance in regards to political discourse in regards to the addition of LGBT capes into a game that doesn't need to pander towards any sexuality in order to be enjoyed. Yes. I think the average, let's see. What's Helldivers at right now? What are they at right now? So there's 92,000 people playing right now. All-time peak was 458,000. The 24-hour peak is 242,000. So they still consistently are having hundreds of thousands of people play this game. It's been out for a couple months now. And there hasn't been any political discourse until these people, these woke people, started injecting the political discourse into it. And people have loved it. By any measure, people like Catherine Baskin are just objectively wrong. Just objectively wrong. And they want us to take them seriously when the entire world can see that the facts are stacked against them, and they just don't care. They do not care. Why should we listen to any of these people? They do not live in reality. They just don't. Absolutely not. No, go away. Nobody likes you. Baskin has taken steps to shield her Twitter account and modified her Discord profile to evade negativity. However, Mark Kern, also known as Grums, shared several other posts she had made over the past 4 years. Let's see, of course, she, her, yeah, of course. Opinions are mine. Careful, opinions ahead. In June 2020, she posted, I'm not talking much because it's not my turn to talk. It's time for black people to be heard and for white people to listen. I want to continue to do everything I can to help, including passing the mic. God. Jesus Christ. I also don't like the terms casual and hardcore because they remind me of porn, because they come with the implication that skill equals passion. Those words are something gamers cling to, but they are being rendered meaningless as games become more accessible, inclusive, and experimental. I saw this the other day, and I've been thinking about this a little bit. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of the terms of casual and hardcore gamer because, look, hardcore gamers are usually pretty damn good gamers. Not all, but most. Casual gamers usually aren't nearly as good. So when you see... Have you seen the video of the Diablo 4 developers playing and it doesn't look like they know how to play the game that they worked on? Have you seen that? It's out there. Go look that up. I'm not going to stumble over it right now. But there's two female developers. I believe there were two female developers for Diablo 4. Did I say Diablo 2 earlier? No, Diablo 4. And they're trying to play the game and explain some of the mechanics and whatnot. And it doesn't look like they have ever played the game or even worked on the game. Right? So I think, and also think about Kotaku. Think about Kotaku and how they lost their minds when they actually had to do something about gaming. They want to get rid of this language because they don't want to be known as casual gamers because that hurts their image. It hurts their reputation. If people think of you as a casual gamer, they're not going to listen to you as much as, say, a hardcore gamer, right? I'm not going to listen to Catherine Baskin. I'm not going to listen to Catherine Baskin nearly as much as I'm going to listen to Grums. In fact, I'm not going to listen to Catherine Baskin at all. I'm going to point and laugh. Unless she says something logical, which I highly doubt will happen. But Grums, on the other hand, or say Az from Heel versus Babyface, or Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, people like that, Kabrutus, hardcore gamers, I'm going to listen to them when it comes to gaming. But if I don't listen to Catherine Baskin about gaming, then I have no reason to pay attention to her. And if people don't pay attention to her, then, well, she doesn't have a job. So they want to get rid of this language. This is, again, it's a Marxist tactic. Change the language, right? Change everything to be in your favor. Attack everything that isn't in your favor, that doesn't feed into your narrative. Attack it. Burn it to the ground. And rebuild it in your image. I'm not talking much because it's not... Okay. I'm so tired of games focusing on parent-child narratives, period, let alone male-centric ones. There are other relationships worth exploring in games. What? You know what? I like games with female stories. I like women. I'd like to see more women doing things in games that aren't motivated entirely by men. It's why Jessie from Control Remedy is great and has a sibling story. I love game siblings. Plus, Helldivers is pretty woke dog. Okay, there's that one. She's a racist. This part is wild. Just unchecking the accountability box for men completely. Some real big stinky opinions here. What does this one say? I think it's true that bridging the gap will have to come more from men than women, but I think diagnosis of toxic masculinity only exacerbates the problem, causing further negative polarization. Bridging the gap, accountability, I guess I won't even get into that conversation. A woman talking about accountability. Stop. Just stop. Stop. You have embarrassed yourself plenty. In a separate post, she expressed disdain for the terms casual and hardcore. We got that. She suggested that as games become more accessible, inclusive, and experimental, these terms are losing their relevance and becoming meaningless to gamers. No, they're not. Maybe they're meaningless to you, but not real gamers. You're not a real gamer. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a hardcore gamer. I'm not. I have been playing video games, though, for 30 years. So I understand the gaming community. I've spent a lot of time around these crazy fucks. They're good people, for the most part. They're interesting, good people. Smart people. I don't know why you decided to pick a fight with these people. It's a bunch of autists who scour the internet for bullshit. And program and do all sorts of crazy shit with computers. And they're very smart. And you picked a fight with them. Why? My God. And the other thing here, well, I had a thought about this, the casual and hardcore. So, even if a game is more accessible or inclusive or experimental or whatever the fuck you're saying, even if those things are true, that doesn't change, it doesn't change the spectrum of casual to hardcore gamer, right? I'm probably more, I'm a lot more actually on kind of the casual side, right? I keep up with games and I play them here or there, but I'm very casual about it. I'd probably be more hardcore about it if I maybe did this like for a primary income or something like that, but that's another story. The games can be accessible, inclusive, and experimental. That's fine, but the casual or hardcore is going to come down to me. How much time do I spend playing the games? How much time do I spend researching the games? How much time do I spend just all of it, talking about them, blogs and everything, blah, blah, blah. So she's stupid. The possibility of consumers being misled by Arrowhead Game Studios' political stance was not overlooked. However, discussions regarding the actions of its community manager were promptly deleted from the game's Steam community forums, intensifying the controversy. Wow. Okay, discussions regarding the action of its community manager were deleted. See, Steam's been doing this a lot, and I think, I'm not certain, and I'm sure Steam can delete whatever they want, obviously, but I think the developers for some of these studios have a lot of control over these boards. So, you know, I understand why they would remove it, because they don't want controversy, and maybe they just, I'm guessing, because look, let's, her posts are protected. She closed her account real quick, right? I'm guessing the studio went to her and said, "What the fuck are you doing? You stop now. Now." What's up, Florence? Good morning. Good to see you. Talking about some Helldivers. Oh, boy. And this community managers thing that's going on. No idea. Let's see. Given the commercial nature of products, official platforms like Discord are often heavily moderated by progressive individuals. Those inclined to moderate others are typically not the most trustworthy, as few are willing to undertake such tasks except for those with control freak tendencies, often indicated by prominently featuring their pronouns in social media bios. Yes, that's very true. Of a homeowners association, right? These are people with no personality. They're not talented. They're not creative. Maybe they were picked on in school. Maybe they were that real awkward person, like through grade school, junior high, and high school, that everyone just knew was awkward socially in every sense of the word. And they grew up and they became either president of a homeowners association or a Discord community manager, because it gives them some kind of sense of authority. They get to tell people what to do. I guarantee this woman feels like she's changing the world. Like, she thinks she is just fighting all the Nazis, and it's like, I punch Nazis for fun. God. It reminds me, have you guys ever seen that video of the Antifa squad, like the skinny white Antifa guys training to punch Nazis in the park? Maybe we might look at that a little later. Oh my gosh. Community managers tend to exhibit similar behaviors. Many come from platforms like Reddit and Tumblr, where power dynamics and pronoun usage are prevalent. Consequently, a significant portion of the fan base actively avoids Discord servers, opting to create their own, as gatekeeping is the most effective way to preserve a fan base. It raises questions as to why companies like Arrowhead Game Studios would hire individuals who seem to hold animosity toward their consumer base. The real question is, what action will Arrowhead take regarding their community manager, if any whatsoever, because her antics are inexcusable. And I said this, I think, right before you jumped on, Florence. I'm pretty sure, because it's locked down, I'm pretty sure someone from the studio probably tapped her on the shoulder and said, knock it off. Stop. Her attempt, where did I go? Oh, yeah, I said that. Her attempt to suggest that Helldivers 2 players are unaware of the fact that Super Earth is supposed to be evil shows a lack of understanding of satire. Yes. Additionally, her assertion that the game is woke simply because it was developed by individuals of diverse races and genders implies that anything not exclusively created by white men is automatically considered woke, which really says a lot. Yeah, and remember, she was the one who brought up skin color. She was the one who brought up gender. She was the one who brought up sexual orientation. The entire Helldivers community was saying, we don't want that. We don't want to talk about this stuff. And what did she do? She started talking about it. Because that's all they know how to do. It's the only thing they can identify with. They are devoid of character. I mean, I can't think of any other explanation. Despite the corpulent cow's insistence on arguing that Helldivers 2 is satire against fascism, most people simply enjoy the game for what it is, disregarding any supposed message that isn't actually evident. Helldivers 2 is purely about having fun, blowing up bugs and robots. Any convoluted backstory likely falls on deaf ears, as players are focused entirely on the gameplay experience. Yeah, every single video I've seen of this, everyone I've seen playing this, everyone's just laughing, blowing shit up, having a great time. That's all gamers want. That's all we want in our entertainment. We don't even want to hear politics from our politicians. There's nothing inherently woke about it. The game itself doesn't feature LGBT capes to appease vindictive progressives, which is why people such as Catherine Baskin have to manufacture bullshit to get woke about, because they simply hate the fact that Helldivers 2 has become a game for bros, because they despise the concept of people having fun and are compelled to push a progressive narrative. They cannot stand people like this, people like Catherine Baskin. They can't stand the idea that people might be able to enjoy life without them. Right? They think they're so damn important, and what they are doing is fighting for the good of all humanity. And the idea that a bunch of people could go over here and not talk about this stuff, and not focus on this stuff, and not focus on them, and actually just enjoy life, it drives them insane, because they know that they're kind of useless, right? I've said it before on this channel. These are the people who would probably spend their lives just maybe being secretaries, or just, working on an assembly line, or mopping floors, or flip. And again, if that's all you do, and if that's what you want to do, and if that's how you make a living and everything, there's nothing wrong with that. But human beings are not equal. We have different capacities for talent and skills and all sorts of stuff. And some people are way up here. Some people are way down here. Some people are in the middle, right? Most of us are in the middle. That's just reality. But a lot of these people are kind of down here, and they're starting to realize it. They're starting to understand, oh shit, I need to keep this grift going. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go mop floors. And with the women, with a lot of these women, with a lot of these women, they're kind of they don't like the idea that maybe the only thing they can do is be a housewife. I'm not saying, again, nothing wrong with that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's, I'm not saying it's bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just the way things are. And they can't stand that idea that maybe the only thing they're good at is having babies and taking care of a house. Again, there's plenty of women out there who are capable of so much, but not these women. And I wouldn't get her pregnant if I were you. I'll reserve judgment until I see how the situation unfolds. However, I'm currently relieved that I haven't bought the game yet, as it seems to embody many aspects that don't align with my personal preferences in a video game. Nonetheless, it does appear to offer mindless enjoyment, and sometimes in video games, that's all you want. That's it. Just shut off your brain. It's like the new Godzilla Kong movie, right? You just shut off your brain, look at the pretty colors and explosions and chaos. And sometimes that's plenty fun. Okay. And then it goes down to some of the details about the game. Okay, let's move on. Because there's a little more going on. So Grums, I had that pulled up. I think that article pretty much covered all of it. That was a good article. I bookmarked this site, TechOpsy, TechOpse. So there she is, Catherine Baskin, protected her post. And then there was another one that came out. So Star Wars Outlaws, another community manager comes out. And of course, she's already protected her account. But another community manager comes out. And she had some interesting comments. Shauna Jones, of course, she has her pronouns in the bio. Please don't tell me gender isn't an issue in the... Now, remember, this is another community manager and another white woman, another liberal white woman. Please don't tell me gender isn't an issue in the games industry when you are a white male. Diversity in general is an issue in the industry. I guess as a white male who is always represented, it's easier to not know or see the misrepresentation in studios. No, we just don't care. Ninja is boasting about his white privilege. By doing this, he has the potential to influence millions of kids and chooses to be a sack of beans. Okay? Use your platform for good if you have the opportunity. Don't do a ninja. And Ninja, the gamer, says parents should parent their kids, citing that it's not his job to teach kids about racism and white privilege. Yes, I agree with that. It's not his job to teach kids about that shit. It's not the job of anyone to teach them about racism and white privilege. If their parents want to talk to them about that, that's one thing. It's not the job of the educators. It's not the job of the gamers. It's not the job of the corporations or the politicians. No, stop it. It is not your responsibility. Again, a liberal white woman who thinks she needs to take the entire world on her shoulders and carry it around and tell it what to do. It's like, I'm saving the world. Jesus. It's kind of ironic, Florence says, it's kind of ironic these people would be pro-workers' rights while also looking down on hard labor jobs. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they claim to be, well, their idea of supporting workers' rights is supporting sex work. That's their idea of supporting workers' rights. Drug dealers and sex work. They've got no problem with that stuff. They don't understand. They have no concept. They have no idea that they would have nothing without the blue-collar workers, without the plumbers, without the truckers, without the farmers, without all of the construction workers who are out there fixing the roads when they are actually fixing the roads. You know, when they need to call someone because their water heater blows out. They don't get it. They just don't get it because they don't see humanity the same way that you and I see it. They just don't. So gamers are under attack. Okay, gamers are under attack. And I don't understand why they picked a fight with gamers. That seems like a really retarded thing to do, but they did. Speaking of gaming, and again, gaming is under attack. Look, They keep doing this here. This is the main character for Star Wars Outlaws. Can't wait to, this is Grizzy. Can't wait to not play it and watch it fail. Another strong-jawed female with a, what is it? What's going on with all of the women getting all of these like they're getting these big chest tattoos and they're getting these big stomach tattoos and all these thigh tattoos and everything. And for the most part, it looks like shit. I have a couple bad tattoos. I know it, but not that bad. Not that bad. It looks really bad, ladies. I mean, I expect to see that maybe on like a UFC fighter, some punk rocker on tour. But all of these women just everywhere are getting all of these terrible, terrible tattoos all over their body. Looks awful. Well, there's that. So, I forgot why I brought this up. Oh, Shauna Jones. Yeah. She's, of course, she's got it locked down. So, and there's another one. Ex-Bungie community manager exposed for anti-white racism. Bungie employees rushed to her defense. Is this the same lady, just a different hair? No. I just brought it up to show that it's Liana Rupert, previously a community manager and co-lead of accessibility at Bungie, known for their endless virtue signaling within the gaming industry, has transitioned to Amazon to oversee discussions surrounding the upcoming Fallout TV adaptation. Great. Which is bound to disappoint actual fans of the Fallout franchise, especially considering how its director, Jonathan Nolan, proclaimed that pleasing game fans is a fool's errand. Well, then why would you make the show? If you're not worried, if you don't want to make the actual real fans happy, why would you make the show? Because you see it as a vehicle for your narrative. This comes out on April 11th, by the way, so that's tomorrow. You know what I realized? A week from this Friday, Rebel Moon 2 comes out. Scargiver. Rebel Moon 2. Or Rebel Moon Part 2. Excuse me. Scargiver. And I think my first Rebel Moon video did very, very well. I mean, it's the best video I've got so far. I think I'm going to maybe actually take the day off from my 9-to-5 job and work on that. Oh, man. This is going to be so bad. While I'm thinking about it, I've got some personal time to spend, so I could do it. I'm not gonna just like not show up to work or anything like that. Take a vacation day or something. What? Let me see something real quick. What time does Rebel Moon 2 come out? Or I should have said release. So the release date's the 19th, but how does Netflix do it? Do they release stuff at midnight or like 3 a.m. or something? Do you happen to know, Florence? I have no idea. I'm not going to spend too much time digging into it. We'll find out. Screw it. But speaking of games, there's a video from Maxim Korea where they have some Korean models talking about the Stellar Blade controversy, and we're just going to watch a little bit of it. April 19th, that's when Rebel Moon 2 is coming out. Yes, and I think I'm going to, I was just saying, I think I might actually take the day off. I might use a vacation day on my 9-to-5 job so that I can watch it and work on it. Because I'd really like my first video for the Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. Jesus. Did pretty well. I don't know. Does it come out at midnight, I think, though? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, yep, I will definitely be watching that. That's really the next big one on my schedule. And I'll probably... I really don't want to pay $19.99 to watch American Society of Magical Negroes, but I might, just so I can make fun of that movie. I definitely wasn't going to go see it in theaters. But let's watch this. This is Maxim Korea. And they're talking about the Stellar Blade controversy. So, and this is in Korean, obviously. So there's some subtitles. So I will read the subtitles as we go. Oh, it's a little loud still. Hold on. Maxim News starts now. What is a realistic body type? Defining realistic may be difficult, but there was a recent incident criticized for an unrealistic body type. IGN France reviewed the demo of Korea's game Stellar Blade, stating the character Eve appears bland. Oh, there's Grums. Like a doll created with an exaggerated sexual aspect by someone who's never seen a woman. However, as some of you may know, the character Eve in this game was modeled after Shin Jae-eun, a Maxim cover model. Yes. Can a character modeled after a real person's body be called unrealistic? So even... Oh, heard in the pause. Can... They've got me flustered. So even Maxim Korea, the Koreans, all of them, are calling out Western video games. Hey, man. I'm sorry, but if you are against this, you are on the wrong side of history. Now, let's see. Does it make sense to call a body based on a real person unrealistic? Does this make sense? No. It's another issue related to political correctness we've been hearing a lot about these days. Good. I'm glad they're calling. Therefore, to educate that Shin Jae-eun's body is indeed realistic and exists in reality, we've decided to re-release the video of Shin Jae-eun's photo shoot. Oh my. It's a video previously released on YouTube, but there she is. There she goes. This time, it's made available with subtitles in English, Japanese, Arabic, Indonesian, Vietnamese, Hindi, so more people worldwide can watch it. So, not only is Korea calling out the Western game industry, they are pushing more of this out into the world. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that great? Let me give this a thumbs up. Isn't that wonderful? This is fighting against the political correctness, right? When you see it, you like they're not being crass about it. They're not being rude. They're saying, "Oh, here's the political correctness discussion going over in the West, and what's anti-political correctness? Oh, I guess it's more sexy women. So here, world, have more sexy women." That's a good thing. I'm out of coffee. That's a good thing. Fantastic. I love this. The result? Not sure, but the comments from viewers around the world create an atmosphere as heated as the Roman Colosseum. What do you think a realistic body type is? If you're curious about the answer, please watch Shin Jae-eun's video again. Next news, the bigger, the better. I think we're done here. The video of the photo shoot. Okay, so then they just go talking about more of Maxim cover models. They sure do. They sure do. Boy, oh boy. This, I think this channel needs research. Boy, I don't know if I can show some of this stuff on YouTube. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so there's that. What do we got next? Okay, so speaking of a bunch of people trying to trying to do these transitions, speaking of a bunch of people trying to tell women what they can and can't do or what is and isn't when it comes to women. So recently, Scotland Yard, the police of Scotland, released they introduced their new hate crime law and a hate crime reporting center. And they have been overwhelmed, and they don't know what to do, and everyone's like, no shit. So this is Zero Hedge. This was posted Tuesday, April 9th. We cannot cope. Police Scotland deluged with politicized hate crime reports. Entirely as predicted, Police Scotland has been deluged with vexatious and politically driven hate crime reports, with one top official complaining, "We cannot cope. Didn't see this one coming." Under the new legislation, anyone deemed to have been verbally abusive in person or online to a transgender person, including insulting them, could be hit with a prison sentence of up to 7 years. So I just want to say that again. If you insult a transgender person, if they interpret it as an insult, you could go to prison for 7 years. That instantly led to a flood of bad faith reports, including from conservatives making a mockery of the system and from deranged left-wing activists trying to punish their ideological adversaries. David Threadgold, chairman of the Scottish Police Federation, said that the new legislation was being exploited to pursue personal and political vendettas. Police Scotland have gone public and said that on every occasion, reports of hate crime will be investigated, Mr. Threadgold told the BBC. That creates a situation where we simply cannot cope at the moment. Why? It's going to take a big movement from the police in Scotland, in America, in Canada, in wherever. The police officers, the unions, the different departments are going to have to stand up at some point and say, we're not going to do this. We're not going to enforce this crazy law. The more and more they don't, the more distrust they're going to build between themselves and the average person. Police have a very difficult job. I think of course, there's a lot of bad police out there. There's a lot of good cops out there too. And anytime I've obviously had my run-ins with cops before. I've been to jail a couple times just for drunken shit. But I have tried, when I've been pulled over, I have tried to be respectful with police officers. And I've had 2 instances where I've had some bad run-ins with cops. I've had cops pull their guns on me. But it's going to get worse if these police officers don't stand up and start saying, look, we're not going to enforce these crazy laws. We're not going to do this, right? This is against, in America, you can say this is against the Constitution, this is against liberty, this is against free speech, whatever it may be. Oh, let's see. As shitty as some stuff in the U.S. can be, I'm glad we have shit like the Constitution and freedom of speech. Also, you're kind of cutting out a little bit. Still understandable, but it's happening a little more. God bless it. I don't know what's going on with that, man. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's my mic arm. I don't know. Everything should be plugged in. I don't know. Maybe I'll try not bumping some stuff, touching some stuff. That might be it, actually. Hold on. Okay. I'll try to not be as animated a little bit. Yeah, we kind of have free speech still. We've got more free speech than most places in the West. We're supposed to anyway. Oh, let's see. When you have vexatious complaints, people who look to weaponize this legislation or who make these complaints for personal gain or political point scoring, then that creates a problem for the police, which can affect public satisfaction in my organization. As we previously highlighted, Police Scotland admitted that the new law could create additional demand and create a resource implication for a resource implication. Like it implies that we need to divert more resources to this. Is that what you mean? It's just an odd way of speaking. This followed a trial of a separate program set to be implemented across the country to stop investigating crimes like theft and criminal damage, which authorities acknowledge will help criminals. They're doing this everywhere. They are doing this all over the place. Here in Illinois, they have the Protect Illinois Communities Act, which no longer, there's no more cash bail. People who are guilty of all sorts of crazy shit are just walking free. You can't, there's no cash bail for things like arson and trespassing and kidnapping. No, in America here, what they're doing is they're going after the Constitution. Now, they're doing this all over the world. In Scotland, they are seriously allowing people to just commit crime and going after your free speech. How did we get here? They don't care about you. None of them. It's a uniparty. It's a global uniparty. None of them care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone. Michael Jackson said it best. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. And they really don't. They really, really don't. So this leads to now. J.K. Rowling has come out and been extremely critical of this new law, extremely critical, and J.K. Rowling is being called out for it. So on Modernity.news, transgender human doll lectures J.K. Rowling about about what a woman is. So this thing is, and J.K. Rowling is a woman with children, or at least one child, and is being lectured by this thing. Okay, good. In a bizarre news segment, a transgender person who used to refer to himself as the human Ken doll attempted to lecture J.K. Rowling on what a woman really is, declaring that the author should stick to what she knows. So, stick to what she knows. So a woman who is a woman saying that women are women doesn't know that she's a woman or what other women are. But you, a biological man who have just taken chemicals and had your face cut up and had your body altered and all sorts of wild, crazy shit, and you call yourself a trans woman, heavy air quotes, so you know what you're talking about. So I'm supposed to believe you. Okay. The Brazilian British OnlyFans person, and of course it's OnlyFans. Of course it is. Sex work is real work. The Brazilian British OnlyFans personality born Rodrigo Alves, now known as Jessica Alves, has undergone so much plastic surgery that he can barely speak or move, including implants and enhancements resulting in an appearance that resembles cartoon-like spoof of a woman. Yes, all of these trans, quote, women, they're just caricatures of what they think a woman is in their mind, right? And it's when you think about it, it's an incredibly sexist thing. It's incredibly sexist for all of these men to kind of force their idea of being a woman onto women. It's incredibly sexist. It's like, no, you're not doing it right. Watch me. This is how you do it. And of course, you've got a bunch of liberal white women who embrace it and say, oh yes, they're strong, they're brave, they're independent, they're wonderful, they're so super duper. They're making your life more difficult and you're helping them. I don't know. We have an incredible mental health crisis. Yet in a clip from an interview on GB News, Alves claimed, I don't believe that I am a woman. I am a woman. Adding, even my birth certificate has been changed to born a female. It reminds me of the saying, if you have to try and normalize something, it's not normal. If you have to try so hard to convince everyone of something that is just not true, then do you even believe it yourself? Like, what are you trying to prove? If you really believed it, if you were actually comfortable with it, wouldn't you just, like, go about your day? That's just me. Just me. Whatever. I never felt like a man, therefore I am a woman. I've never felt like a poor person, therefore am I rich? I've never felt like I have a small PB, so do I have a big one? I've never felt like I'm 5'9", I must be 6'4". I've never felt like a retard, I must be Stephen Hawking. Well, then I'd be dead. Mental health crisis. Alves further declared before going on to claim, it's very sad to read the headlines lately about J.K. Rowling. She doesn't understand anything of what she is talking about. Alves proclaimed, adding, she's not a trained doctor. She's a book writer. What are you? God, other than freak. The host responded, she might argue that she's a woman, though. To which Alves responded, I'm also a woman. Her remarks are not necessary. They are very indelicate. They are very hurtful, Alves further suggested, going on to call Rowling transphobic. You do not comment on people's race. You do not comment on people's gender. Those are subjects that you don't point out and talk about. Why? Why? See, they say things like that, but no one ever tells you why. Maybe because if you started pointing things out and started noticing patterns, you might notice something bad. You might notice a bad trend among things. And we can't have that. And he's just getting raked. Just getting raked over the coals on Twitter. When you firmly believe you are something which you are not, it's called mental illness. The surgeons who did this to him have no ethics. Yeah, you know what? That's, again, that's another thing. And the surgeons will do it all day because they're getting paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every year. They'll do this all day. They don't care. They're just getting bigger houses. They're getting more houses, more cars. They have no ethics. The first rule of being a doctor, first, do no harm. That's the very first thing in the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. This looks like harm to me. This looks like you are supporting mental illness. That looks like harm to me. And the Scottish hate crime law, again, it's already a farce. This is the... We'll watch this one more time. And this is the Prime Minister of Scotland, or I think they call him the First Minister. This is the guy, Humza Yousaf, who is a Muslim who pushed this new hate crime law, and let's see if he sounds like he's full of hate.
Most senior positions in Scotland are filled almost exclusively by those who are white. Take my portfolio alone. The Lord President, white. The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General, white. The Chief Constable, white. Every Deputy Chief Constable, white. Every Assistant Chief Constable, white. The Head of the Law Society, white. The Head of the Faculty of Advocates, white. Every Prison Governor, white. And not just Justice. The Chief Medical Officer, white. The Chief Nursing Officer, white. The Chief Veterinary Officer, white. The Chief
All right,
Social Work Advisor,
we get it.
white.
We get it. Okay. So people are reporting this guy. And of course, they don't do anything about it, right? Because it's rules for thee, not for me. They won't do anything to this guy. He can go out and he can make all the racist, bigoted comments he wants, and they won't do a thing. Even though his brother-in-law is a criminal. Like, these are the people who lord over us, right? These are the people who we're supposed to listen to. These are the people who claim, these are the progressives who claim to be supporting all of humanity, who want to do the right thing for all of us. And we should listen to them because they've got all the certifications and the degrees and all the experience and the gender studies and bullshit and whatnot. Like, don't you ever wonder sometimes, like, where the fuck did these people even come from? Where did they even come from? Like, all of a sudden, they're just here. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I've never even heard of you, and all of a sudden you're voted into office and you're espousing all of this insane crap. Kind of weird, isn't it? Local elections are your most important elections. So, yeah, his brother, First Minister Humza Yousaf's brother-in-law, has been charged with abduction and extortion following an incident where a man fell from a block of flats and later died. Ramsey El Nakla, 36, is expected to appear at Dundee Sheriff Court later. Okay, Ryan Munro was seriously injured in the fall and died a week later. 3 other people were arrested and charged and appeared in court for the same incident. Okay, all right, he'll probably get off. Whatever. Not that way. You know what I mean. Let's see. We're only going to be able to go for about another 10, 12 minutes, probably. So what else do I want to touch on? Oh, we got to touch on that. Okay. So speaking of, I'm bringing this up to bring something else up, but this is Salon. So speaking of women, I forgot what the clever transition I was going to do. So here's women being accosted by men. There's the transition. So speaking of women being accosted by men, men punching random women in New York City, a desperate last gasp of the male rage fueling MAGA. Okay, so Salon, which is a feminist rag, not like that. You know what I mean. Maybe you know what I mean. I don't know. Anyway, they're coming out. And if you haven't heard, there have been a bunch of women in New York City getting just randomly punched in the face, right? And it's just randomly getting punched in the face. Men are punching random women on the streets of New York City. As usual with these kinds of diffuse and chaotic stories, there's much that is unknown, including how often this is happening, how many people are involved, or whether it's at all coordinated. But what we do know is already alarming. CNN reports that dozens of women have discussed being victims on social media and formally interviewed 6 of them. NBC News reports there have been at least 3 arrests. CBS News reports that the NYPD released images last week of a 4th man wanted for allegedly punching a woman in Union Square. Even reality TV star Bethany Frankel, I have no idea, says she's been victimized. Women report being assaulted by men of different races and ages. Still, across the different stories, a couple of similarities pop out. The alleged victims are mostly young and pretty, and most of them say they were minding their own business when they were attacked. Some were on their phones or reading on tablets. Others were speaking to friends or daydreaming. Whatever, so they weren't paying attention. They just weren't paying attention to their surroundings. Okay. Whatever they were doing, they were just living their lives, not paying attention. And that, it seems, is what enraged their assailants. Whatever the scale of this problem eventually turns out to be, it's not surprising these stories have gone viral and captured the public's imagination. While it rarely turns to violence, most women who spend much time walking around in public have experience with men who berate them for paying attention to something other than the man who is now, often out of nowhere, spewing invectives. Most women have an experience like this? Really? In our modern era, that often manifests with men who are infuriated at women for looking at their phones. Where is this happening? But I'm old enough to remember when I would get yelled at for reading books in public. What? Do you see the psychosis? Like, the only reason I'm ever upset with people who are looking at their phones in public is because they're just staring down at their phone and just bumping into people, falling off of bridges. And it just so happens that most of those people are women. I don't care if you, I mean, I do care if you do that because you're usually, like I said, bumping into stuff and everything. If I see one of those people walking down the street at me, I don't move. They bump into me, that's their fucking problem. Whatever the excuse the angry man concocts, the impetus is always the same. The eyes of a woman are directed at someone or something that is not him, okay? And he is indignant over it. This is projection of a woman. Women, more than anything, what do they want from a man? Attention. They crave attention. They need it all the time. Now, some are worse than others, but women want attention. Look at me. Look at me, do something with me, play with me, let's go out, let's do something, let's do this, me, it's my birthday, it's my wedding, it's this, it's that, it's everything, it's me, it's mine. Give it to me. Now, I want it all. I want the whole world. and I want it now. This is very much projection. So he will make sure that she has no choice but to look at him, either by getting in her face or, in these alarming New York cases, punching her in the face to make sure that she's paying attention to him, I guess, and not the phone. Okay. If he cannot capture her adoring gaze, well, he will make her stare at him in fear. These stories resonate as well because the nation is having a moment of increasingly unhinged male fury at women for daring to have lives that are centered around something other than catering to a man's every whim. Unleashed by Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, there's an upswell of loud male entitlement shouting at us from every corner. Okay, so basically, they're having a real one. They are just unhinged. And they're blaming all of these women being randomly punched in the face on, of course, one group of people. But I really brought this up because I wanted to show you one of the guys who's been arrested. And his name is, what is it again? His name is Skiboki Stora. And he actually ran for mayor in New York. And this is one of the gentlemen that's been arrested for punching women in the face. And I want us to listen to Skiboki Stora's message. Let's take a look. Take a listen.
I was talking to this lady today about them Democrats, Mark. So she was telling me about the Democrats and how evil they was, Mark. The white man, you know. So I explained to her, Mark, the real evil comes from them voters, Mark.
Mark.
You know, it's just like my mama, Mark. You know, I ran for mayor, Mark. My mama voted for Eric Adams, Mark. You know, because again, in the white woman, in the black woman mind, man, her child, a black man, will never be a man. He will always be a slave to the white man. So I understand why my own mama voted against me, Mark. But I'm asking all the other men them that's in our community like me, Mark.
Mark.
Let's just don't wait for our mama to vote this next election for governor, Mark. Let us be the grown adults, man. Let us get freedom for ourselves, man. Everything is going up on us, man. They're going to have us eating out of garbage, man. In the streets, man. I need y'all men to wake up, man.
This is MAGA country. Okay.
I was talking to this lady today about the Democrats, Mark.
All right. Thank you, Skiboki. Thank you, Skiboki Stora. Thank you, Salon, for writing that stupid article so that we could all take a look at Skiboki Stora, who ran for New York City mayor and is out of his goddamn mind. Wow. Okay. Now, speaking of retarded people who are insane, we had a solar eclipse. We survived. We're fine. I was kind of disappointed. There was no spaceships. There was no tidal waves. There were no Anunnaki, no Nephilim, no space lasers, no, pole shifting, nothing. It's pretty boring. I mean, I went out and looked at it. It was fine. It was an eclipse. We had a partial, but it was pretty boring. But we did get this little gem out of it from The View, of course, naturally. This is Sunny Hostin. And this is what she had to say about Madam Web didn't get blinded by shrapnel. She got blinded by staring at the solar eclipse. There you go. Works for me. Madam Web. Oh, my God. Macho Man Randy Savage glasses. You know what? There's a part of me that almost wants a sequel. Just to see where they take it. Just to see what the hell they're going to do. There's a part of me that wants a sequel. I go see it. Screw it. I'll go see it. I don't care. As long as Ezekiel's in it. Oh, but he died. Shit. They can bring him back. Use a multiverse. Do that. Okay. This is This is View host Sunny Hostin and her take on. Just listen, okay? Just listen.
I mean, I have to say, Karen Dupiche, our wonderful, one of our wonderful makeup artists, when the earthquake was happening, she put her coat on and she was like, "Jesus is coming."
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm leaving. We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the earthquake. She ran down the hallway.
The rapture is here.
The rapture's here. And then also, I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas.
Cicadas.
Although I love
for the first time in like
No,
100 years.
no.
Two
That's-
different. Well, this is what I read.
There's
Two different
there's
times.
two different kinds of
Yes,
cicadas.
two different
coming.
times are coming.
The good cicadas and the bad
But
cicadas.
for the first time in many, many years.
No,
And so-
every 17 years this happens.
well, that's not what I read, but maybe you know, maybe
Well,
you know better. But
in
I
a
will
way-
say all those things together would maybe lead one to believe that either climate change exists,
That's more
or
the point.
something is really
Except
going
Earth
on.
is returning.
Are you retarded?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Solar eclipse, earthquake, cicadas, in her words, leads her to believe that climate change is real. Now, people actually turn on The View and listen to what they say and take them as news, take them as a news outlet, take them as journalism. The nursing home called. They want their old crusty dementia having hags back. Dude, what the fuck? I mean, people listen to them for news on our world and take it as truth. It's easy to say, "Oh no, we're fucked," because sometimes it really looks like we are. But I don't know. Somehow I'm kind of optimistic just because it's gone so insane that so many people are just looking at it and being like, "Yeah, no, this isn't going to work." So many people are starting to push back because they're like, "No, this isn't going to work. These people are retarded." I can't believe we've got here. Here we are. I don't know. You think we've reached the crest? I don't know if we have. We're gonna have to wrap it up pretty quick here, but let's see what else I wanted to talk about. We survived the eclipse. It was pretty boring. So, oh yes. Speaking of retards, so the NCAA basketball tournaments happened, and we're just gonna watch this and make fun of it. This is our vice president. This is our vice president. And this is what she had to say about women's basketball.
Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022? Think about that. And talk about progress, better late than never, but progress. And what that has done, because of course when, I had a bracket, it's not broken completely, but I won't talk about my bracket.
So apparently the women's basketball in the NCAA wasn't allowed to have tournament brackets until 2022. I just kind of want to know, like, where do you get this? How do you make this up? Did someone tell you this? Did someone feed you this information? Because it wouldn't surprise me, A, if you just made this up in your head, or B, someone is trolling you. Like one of your assistants is trolling you saying, "I bet you I can get her to say the craziest shit live. Watch this." And she did. Like, this is the vice president. People voted for this woman.
But you know what? Just how we...
There it is. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Here we are. How'd we get here? Okay, maybe there was one more thing. So, I found a little video of... So, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are going to fight, and I don't think it's going to be a real fight. But here's a video sometime back of... This is Mike Tyson and Puff Daddy. It's a very short video. But look at Mike Tyson's face. He's looking down at P. Diddy's hand. See P. Diddy? He's nice and happy, putting his hand near Tyson's leg. Now watch what Mike Tyson does.
It truly is about the Benjamin, as we see.
Oh, yes, he's glittering.
It truly is about the Benjamin.
Well, now, when we come back, we're going to talk more with Puffy, and if you want to hang out, more than welcome to stick around, my brother. All right? We'll be right back with more right after this.
You see that shit? You see that shit? Mike knew, man. Mike knew. It's just been going on for a while now, hadn't it? He knew. Dude, he's lucky Mike Tyson didn't knock his fucking teeth out, man. Wow. And these are the people. These are the billionaires and the elites and the people that we're supposed to, well, you shouldn't look up to Puff Daddy, but these are the elites, the politicians, the pedophiles that lord over us. And it's interesting, they can, and again, I'm not, getting too political on it, but it's interesting that they can find a January 6th grandma using all of their technology, but they can't seem to find any of the Epstein people, even though they have the list. Curious, huh? All right, so we're going to have to wrap it up there. We'll wrap it up there. Been going for about an hour and a half. So I will be back. I think I'll probably do the Friday show again, the Friday morning, and work on some more reviews. And have a good rest of the day. Excuse me, Florence. I'm so sorry. You have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the week. Stay frosty on Twitter. I'll put out a tweet if I'm going to stream Friday morning or not, but we'll absolutely do the Sunday morning live stream as well for the weekend review. And you as well have a wonderful week. And everyone who was here, thank you so much for showing up. If you liked what you heard, hit the like, the share, the subscribe, the notification bell thingy, all that good jazz. And we will see you next time. So until then, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, guys. Have a wonderful week. See ya.